Yo, what's up guys, it is Seahawks area back with another video, and today's my week 13 NFL recap. Hopefully everyone had a great Thanksgiving. I know I did. And if you went Black Friday shopping, hopefully you actually got a good deal. Which is probably not a lot because Black Friday shopping is been bastardized. Starting this video after the 3 Thanksgiving games and then the Black Friday game. And the Sunday games will be back at my college dorm. So enjoy the video, and as always, go Hawks. So to start off, the Lions lost to the Packers 31-24. The curse of Lions Thanksgiving football picked right back up after a year. Jordan Love had himself a fantastic game, 234 and 4 touchdowns. The rushing game was great with Jacobs leading at 83 yards. Wicks had 2 touchdowns. Watson had a touchdown. Dobbs had a touchdown. One of the touchdowns was, kind of gifted to them after that whole timeout false start sequence from Matt LaFleur and the Packers. Love fumbled, Dobbs fumbled. McDuffie with 12 tackles, 2.5 sacks for Micah Parsons. I know Packers fans are thankful for Jerry Jones, that's for damn sure. Other half sack came from Enigbar. Probably said that wrong. No interceptions. They had 7 points for McManus, 2 points for Whelan. Huge shout out to the Packers defense for standing their ground in this game very, very early on. And then shout out to Dan Campbell for being an absolute idiot once again. Talk about the Lions now. Jared Goff actually had himself quite the good game after the first quarter, and when he could actually make a play without the line collapsing and just him getting destroyed. 256 and 2 touchdowns. Montgomery had the rushing touchdown. Gibbs led the team with 68 rushing yards. Jameson Williams had himself a fantastic day, besides his crucial drop on 4th down. Tesla had a touchdown. St. Brown got injured, ankle injury, I believe. It wasn't good looking at all. He didn't return to this game. Montgomery fumbled. Goff picked back up 10 tackles for Branch. They didn't get a sack or an interception on Jordan Love, so big reason why you lost. Their defense has to do something. Bates with 6 points and Fox with 2 punts. Now we have Dallas taking down Kansas City 31-28. I'm actually shocked that I picked this game correct. I was dumbfounded for most of this game. Chiefs jumped up 14-7 like that in the first quarter, and I was just sitting there like, we're really going to see this happen, aren't we? But no, Cowboys prevailed. Mahomes 261 and 4 touchdowns. Probably his best game of the year. The rushing, Kareem Hunt 58 yards, just continues to not be the most productive. I don't know what is happening to Pacheco, but man, it's not pretty. Rashee Rice 8 for 92 and 2 touchdowns. Hollywood had a touchdown. Kelsey had a touchdown. Rashee Rice fumbled. Mahomes had that ridiculous pass to, I believe it was Worthy or Rice, where he was rushing out, immediately almost getting sacked, but was able to get out of it and throw a laser beam to a wide open receiver. That had my jaw on the ground, obviously. Bolton with 11 tackles, didn't get a sack. Watson got an interception on like the 3rd play of the game. I was hyped because he's a former Cougar. Butker with 4 points, all from extra points, and then Matt Araiza with 5 punts, and now Dallas. Dak Prescott 322 touchdowns and a pick. Phenomenal game out of him. Javonte Williams led the team with 59 rushing yards, while Malik Davis had a 43-yard touchdown. CeeDee Lamb 7 for 112 and a touchdown. George Pickens 88 yards. Hurdled a man. Javonte Williams had a touchdown reception. George Pickens, man. I say this every time, but man, him getting traded to Dallas, best thing for his career without a doubt. He did fumble, and Turpin saved the Dallas ass pretty much by recovering it when he did. Clowney with 6 tackles and 2 sacks. Way to go, Unc. They got 3 total on the day. Dante Fowler Jr. with the other one. Haven't heard that name in a while, my goodness. 11 tackles for Aubrey and just 1 punt for Brian Anger. And now we got the stun of the week so far. The Bengals beat the Ravens ass 32-14. Joe Burrow's back. Had a rough first half. Was trying to get adjusted to it. But once the second half started hitting, Joe Burrow arrived. 261 and 2 touchdowns. Chase Brown leading the team with 78 rushing yards, and Perine was getting a lot of action as well. Ja'Marr Chase 7 for 110. Isovius with a touchdown. Hudson with a touchdown. I believe it was a one-handed catch, so hell yeah, dude. Perine lost a fumble. Battle with 10 tackles. 2 sacks for Osai. An interception for Demetrius Knight. 20 points for McPherson. If you had Evan McPherson in fantasy, congrats. And 2 punts for Reckow. And now Baltimore. Lamar Jackson, 246, no touchdowns, and a pick. I mean, his line was sucking. People were dropping passes. It was just a bad day. The rushing were the only productive parts of the Ravens offense. Only scores they got were from Henry and Keaton Mitchell, likely with 95 yards. Lamar lost 2 fumbles, 11 tackles for Roquan, a sack for Marlon Humphrey, no interceptions. Tyler Loop with 2 points and 3 punts for Jordan Stout. Man, if the Bengals can play like this, they might legit be able to sneak into the playoffs. Got 5 games left in this season. Got to go 5-0 and just hope for a domino effect of other things to happen in the AFC. Now we got a game I didn't really watch a lot of because I was at an arcade beating a lot of games and having fun. But the Bears get their 9th win, their first winning season since 2018, winning 24-15 against the Eagles. I was actually shocked I got this game right. I wasn't really confident in the pick, but I picked it right, and I'm confident in it now. Caleb, he didn't even have the greatest day ever. 154, a touchdown, and a pick, but the rushing is where it was at. Monangai and Swift, 130 and a touchdown, 125 and a touchdown. My goodness. Leading guy was Cole Kmet with 36 and a touchdown. Then Rome Odunze all the way down here, not even getting me a full-ass fantasy point. What the hell, man? Why? Nahshon Wright recovered a fumble. You know, it's Bears football when Nahshon Wright's in the stats with something positive. Brisker with 6 tackles. They didn't get a sack, but Kevin Byard got a revenge game interception for his, 6th or 8th or 7th of the year. I've lost count, but I think he's at least tied for first or is first in interceptions this year, which, who would have guessed that? Definitely not me. 6 points for Cairo Santos and 3 points for Torrey Taylor. Now the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, 232 touchdowns and a pick. The rushing continues to be abysmal. A.J. Brown, 10 for 132 and 2 touchdowns. I'm sure he's happy, but not as happy because they lost to the Bears by 9 points at home. Hurts lost a fumble. 14 tackles for Blankenship, 12 for Dean. Got a sack for Jalen Carter, and the other coming from Nolan Smith. Both 2023 first-round picks. Nice. Jalix Hunt, I believe that's how you say his first name, with an interception. And 3 points for Elliott, 5 points for Braden Mann. Alright, the Niners take down the Browns in Shedur's first home start, 26-8. It's looking good for the Browns for the first half of the game, but just couldn't get anything going after the first half. Brock Purdy, 168 and a touchdown. Didn't have to do a whole lot because their defense was just stalling the Browns' offense. McCaffrey got a touchdown and 53 yards. Juwan Jennings got the touchdown while Kittle led the team in receiving with 67 yards. Gifford and Luter with fumble recoveries. 9 tackles for Farrell with 2 sacks. Sack for Keon White. No interceptions. 8 points for Matt Gay and 5 punts for Morstead. And now the Browns, Shedeur, 149 and a touchdown. Didn't actually look the worst in this game. Judkins with 91 rushing yards, like it. Fannin with a 43-yard day and had a touchdown I saw on Red Zone. It was a really, really nice one. Gage had 3 fumbles. 3 fumbles. Lost one, so did Fannin. 10 tackles for Schlesinger. Sack for Myles Garrett, because why not? I think he needs 3.5 more to tie or break the single-season sack record. I know he's going to do it in the next 2 games, probably. No interceptions. No kicking of any sort, and 4 punts for Corey. Jags destroy the Titans 25-3. They are now first in the AFC South now because the Colts lost 8-4. You know what? Good job, Jacksonville. I've been giving you guys a hard time this year, but you are playing a lot better football, especially on the road. You have half your wins on the road. T-Law, 229 and 2 touchdowns. It looked like he had himself a pretty accurate and good day. His rushing was just beyond terrible. Tootin had the touchdown. Jacoby with a 90-yard performance and a touchdown. Strange got a touchdown. Lane and Allen recovered fumbles. 8 tackles for Lloyd. 2 sacks for Josh Hines Allen. A sack for Johnson. No interceptions. 5 points for Cam Little. 7 punts for Logan Cook. There's a play before halftime where Trevor got destroyed by the sideline, which let them, kick a field goal after all the flags and stuff was situated. Cam Ward, 141, no touchdowns or picks. Pollard was 60 rushing yards. This receiving was abysmal. Pollard and DK lost fumbles, 9 tackles for Gray, sack for Winston, Simmons, and Ward. So their defense, they were getting pressure, but just nowhere near enough to stop Jacksonville. No interceptions. All 3 points came from a 28-yard field goal from Sly and 5 punts for Hecker. Titans still winless at home. Colts are officially on fraud watch. They lose to the Texans 20-16. Texans started this year 0-3, and they are 7-5 now. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. C.J. Stroud is back, 276, no touchdowns and a pick. Chubb and Collins got rushing touchdowns, while Woody Marks led with 64. Sorry, my throat's hurting right now. 98 yards for Nico Collins. Marks recovered a fumble, 8 tackles for Al Shahir. They got one sack, and it came from Sheldon Rankings. No interceptions, 8 points for Fairbairn, and only 2 punts for Townsend. Very nice. Now the Colts, they are starting to crumble a little bit. Daniel Jones, not really a good day. He just really hasn't had the best month overall. 201 and 2 touchdowns. JT was literally the only rushing option for this day. When JT doesn't score, the Colts don't win football games. I've noticed a bit of a trend in that. Pierce was 78 and a touchdown. Tyler Warren had a nice wide open touchdown. Daniel Jones fumbled, 13 tackles for Zaire. That guy with a sack, I do not know how to say that name. And Wormley with a sack. Bynum with an interception, 4 punts for Batchley, and 4 punts for Sanchez. Texans still realistically can win this division. Colts lost their first home game. I think they are on a 2 or 3 game losing streak now, though, which you don't need that right now. You were the 1 seed at one point, and now you're not even leading your division anymore. You're barely a wild card team in the AFC right now. What's going on, Colts? Dolphins narrowly escape the Saints 21-17. Shuck, probably his best day as a pro. 2 touchdowns and a pick, 239 the rushing. Definitely missing Kamara. 47 yards for Devin Neal. Touchdowns coming from Valet and Olave. Shuck lost a fumble. 9 tackles for Davis. 2 sacks for Jordan. 1 for Brissy. 1 for Chase Young. Their defensive line was really, really hoping, but just it wasn't enough. McKinstry with, I think, his 4th interception of the year. Congrats. 3 points for Smythe. I thought they signed Justin Tucker. I don't know what's up with that. But this guy's first career field goal, so hey, nice. And Kroger with 6 punts. Now Tua, 157, no touchdowns and a pick. Achane with a rushing touchdown, 134 yards. Well, early on in the game, he got absolutely thrown down by a Saints player. I think it was Werner. I don't honestly know. Waller's back and had 47 receiving yards. 2 fumbled. 12 tackles for Brooks. 1 sack for Fitzpatrick. 1.5 for Chop Robinson. 1 for Chubb. Half a sack for Biggers. Rasul Douglas with an interception. Fitzpatrick got an interception on a 2-point conversion and scored. That's why they have 5 in the 4th quarter. 13 points for Patterson. You don't win this game without him. And 4 punts for Jake Bailey. The Falcons are definitely a team that would lose to the Jets. 27-24 on a game-winning field goal. Kirk, 234 and a touchdown. Bijan had himself a great game, 142 and a touchdown. Touchdown for Alligator. I think one of the big problems was it was raining heavily in this game, so couldn't really do a whole lot for passing. So they relied on rushing a lot. Pitts with 82 yards. The touchdown went to David Sills for the second straight week. Congrats. Agnew with a fumble. Jamal Agnew. I didn't know he was still in the league. Damn. 8 tackles for Divine Diablo. That's like a top 3 name in the NFL. Pierce Jr. and Leonard Floyd with sacks. No interceptions. 6 points for Gonzalez and 6 points for Pinion. Remember like a month and a half ago when I said the Falcons were a threat to the NFC? Now they're out here losing to the fucking Jets. Oh my god. Why did I ever say that? They aren't a threat to anything. Now the Jets, Tyrod Taylor, 172, and a great touchdown to Adonai Mitchell. Breece Hall and Tyrod Taylor had rushing touchdowns. Tyrod's like 30, like in his mid to late 30s, and he's still up here rushing for a lot. Hell yeah, dude. Both having touchdowns, 68 yards for Breece Hall. Mitchell, 102 and a touchdown. Probably his best game of his NFL career so far. Was literally the only like good pass catcher for the Jets. Stiggers recovered a fumble. 10 tackles for Moore, a sack for Tony Adams. Other sack coming from Michael Clemens. No interceptions. 9 points for Nick Folk, including the game-winning field goal as time expired. And 6 punts for Austin. Alright. Panthers shock the NFL and beat the Rams 31-28. 7-6. Awesome. Stafford, 243, 2 touchdowns, broke his 10-game with no interception streak, having 2 today, one to a former Ram and Nick Cross, and the other was a pick 6 to former Seahawks elite Michael Jackson. Blake Corum was the leading rusher with 81 and a score. Kyron with 72 and a score. Great rushing attack today, honestly. Devontae with 2 touchdowns, and yes, they were both red zone touchdowns. Xavier Smith led the team with 82 yards, and then Puka Nacua had the fucking catch of the year. Like, go watch it. It's one of the most ridiculous catches you'll ever see. Stafford lost a fumble, a 3-turnover day for Stafford. Wow. 8 tackles and a sack for Byron Young, a sack for Fisk. No interceptions. Mavis with 4 points and just 1 lone punt for Ethan Evans. But now the Panthers, Bryce Young, very accurate, 206 and 3 touchdowns. The rushing was phenomenal, 83 yards for Hubbard. Coker was 74 and a touchdown. Tet had 1 lone catch, but it was a wide open touchdown that he burnt the shit out of Emmanuel Forbes for. And Chuba Hubbard had a receiving touchdown. Wanham recovered a fumble late in the game to pretty much secure the win as the Rams were marching down the field. Ransom with 11 tackles and a sack for Derek Brown. Mike Jackson and Nick Scott. I thought it was Nick Cross. Nope, Nick Scott with interceptions. Fitzgerald with 7 points and 3 punts for Martin. Buccaneers squeak by the Cardinals 20-17. Brissett, another 300-yard performance, 2 touchdowns and a pick. It's what you're always going to get out of Brissett, and you know what? I'm here for it. I love Jacoby Brissett. Bam Knight with 62 rushing yards. Trey McBride, 82 and a touchdown. Bam Knight had a receiving touchdown, and he also lost a fumble. All right. 10 tackles for Gaither. 2 sacks for Josh Sweat. No interceptions. 5 points for Ryland and 2 punts for Hack. Now Tampa. Baker Mayfield, I'm actually kind of shocked he played this game. He didn't have the flashiest stats, but it was enough to win, so that's really what matters. 194 and a touchdown. Bucky Irving, welcome back to the NFL. 7 straight games that we have missed you for. 61 yards and a touchdown. Should have had 2, but 1 was taken away from him, I believe. 78 yards for Chris Godwin. Touchdown went to Tristan Wirfs. The Cardinals let the best left tackle in football score on them. Holy poverty. Nothing against Tristan Wirfs, but just poverty on the Cardinals. Mayfield fumbled. Dennis with 11 tackles. They got 2 sacks coming from Vita Vea and Yaya Diaby. Antoine Winfield with an interception. Their defense came to play today. 8 points for McLaughlin and 5 points for Dixon. Buccaneers 7-5. They are still at the top of their division. Who knows how long that's going to last, though. Welcome to the NFL, Max Brosmer. 26-0, the Seahawks take it to Minnesota and beat the shit out of them. Oh, wow. I mean, there's really nothing to talk about with Brosmer. If he wasn't throwing checkdowns, he wasn't really doing a whole lot. He was overthrowing, underthrowing, throwing more passes to our defense than their receivers. 126, 0 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Jordan Mason, 47 rushing yards. Aaron Jones got himself injured once again. Hawkinson, 59 receiving yards. And Justin Jefferson, 2 catches for 4 yards. He needs to get the fuck out of Minnesota. Jones got stripped by DeMarcus Lawrence, who was hauling ass on that play. Eric Wilson, probably the only person on the Vikings that actually gave a shit in this game. 11 tackles and a sack, but 2 sacks for Dallas Turner, a sack for Van Ginkel. Brian Flores was finding a way to humiliate the Seahawks offense for a good chunk of the game. To give props to him. He knows defense for sure. No interceptions, no kicking, just literally nothing. You had more punting yards than offensive yards. But now the Seahawks, Sam Darnold, in his revenge game, he didn't really do a whole lot. 128, the rushing. Charbonnet had the touchdown, obviously, and Kenneth Walker led the team in rushing, because that's how it goes in Seattle. My boy A.J. Barner, 4 for 35, led the team in catches and yards. JSN 2 for 23, bound to have not the best game at one point. Darnold lost a fumble, had 2 fumbles. Rick Woolen lost a fumble after he got an interception. That was just fucking stupid. Ernest Jones, 12 tackles, a pick 6, and an additional interception. Just hell yeah, dude. Half a sack for Drake Thomas, 1 for Byron Murphy, 1 for Lawrence, 1 for Williams. Other half came to Nwosu. Kobe Bryant, Rick Woolen, Ernest Jones, interceptions. It's just unbelievable. The 84-yard pick 6 from Ernest Jones. Thank you, Titans, so much for him. Myers with 14 points. We would have won this game without that. And 4 punts for Michael Dixon. 9-3, man. Chargers dismantled the Raiders 31-14. Geno 165, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Genty continues to be miserable with his life. Brock Bowers had 2 touchdowns, the only scoring the Raiders were doing this whole game. 63 yards. Geno Smith recovered a fumble. Pretty sure it was the first play of the game, and he fumbled. Nice. Jeremy Chandler, just a calm 17 tackles. Crosby, because it's Crosby, 2 sacks. Sack for Malcolm. Blue Kelly got a end zone interception. I think that's like his 4th one of the year. He's been a unrecognized hero, I guess, for the Raiders lately, but they're still losing, so is it really a hero? Carlson with 2 points and 4 punts for Cole. And now the Chargers. I did see that Herbert got injured a little early on in the game, but he came back, so I guess he's fine. 151, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Vidal and Patterson had great games, both having touchdowns. Vidal having 126, 39 yards for McConkey and a touchdown. Quentin Johnston down here hiding with a touchdown, no fumbles. Perriman and Tuipulotu with 7 tackles, 2 sacks for Thule, half a sack for Khalil Mack, half a sack for my boy Henley, a sack for Bud Dupree. 5 total sacks on the day. They were beating up Geno Smith. Tony Jefferson, the unk himself, with an interception. I didn't even know he was still in the league, man. I thought he retired as a Raven a long time ago. 7 points for Dicker and 2 punts for Scott. 8-4 Los Angeles Chargers. I like it. Bills beat the Steelers in what looks like a very boring game, 26-7. It was 3-7 in the third quarter at one point. That's gross. Josh Allen, 123, a touchdown and a pick. Had a rushing touchdown. James Cook, 32 carries and 144 yards. Good God, the Steelers couldn't do anything to stop him. Keon Coleman, hey, welcome back. Nice having a touchdown. James Cook led the team with 3 for 33, who also fumbled twice and lost 1. Okay. Shaq Thompson with 9 tackles, a sack for Joey Bosa, an interception for Benford, 8 points for Prater and 2 punts for Wisnowski. And now the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers, probably one of the worst games of his career. 10 for 21, 117. I think he got injured again as well. That's why Rudolph is in here, who also threw an interception. Congrats, buddy. You completed more passes to the Bills than to your own players. Nice. Only touchdown and source of points came from Jaylen Warren, 10 for 35 and a score. Darnell with 2 for 45. Hey, DK, is the grass still greener in Pittsburgh? It's really looking like it. Fuck you. Rodgers lost a fumble. 14 tackles for Peyton Wilson. No sacks. Eccles with an interception. a 1-point performance from Chris Boswell and 4 punts for Waitman. The Broncos get their 10th win as they barely escape the Commanders 27-26 on an unblocked Nick Bonito PBU. Man, I really thought the Commanders had it, but nope. Bo Nix, 321, a touchdown and a pick. Probably one of his best games of the season. Harvey had 2 touchdowns, but his yardage wasn't the most productive. Just his whole rushing was just pretty bad. Evan Engram had 79 receiving yards. Touchdown went to Cortland Sutton. And then Bo Nix recovered a fumble. 13 tackles for Hufanga. Sack for Tillman. A sack for Bonito. Interception for Dre Greenlaw. 9 points for Will Lutz. 4 punts for Crashaw. And now the Commanders. Mariota threw the ball 50 times. Wow. 294, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Rodriguez had the touchdown. Mariota led the team with 55 rushing yards. Zach Ertz, 10 for 106, dropped a touchdown at the end there. McLaurin scored the touchdown on 4th and goal. Other touchdown went to Treylon Burks, his only catch of the game. But, man, it was one crazy-ass catch in the top right of the end zone. It was awesome, and then they started comparing it to the Odell catch, and I was just like, are you shitting me? That's nowhere near the Odell catch, man. Mariota fumbled, Debo fumbled. Bobby Wagner had 8 tackles and an amazing, perfectly timed interception. Frankie Louvu with a sack. And then, B-Wags with the interception. Moody with 8 points, including the game tying one to send it into overtime. 4 punts for Tress Way. Broncos, they're a 10-2 team, but man, they cannot close out games against teams they should 100% beat the shit out of. Like, man, I was kind of bummed that this game went to overtime, but man, the overtime was very, very exciting to watch. I mean, the Broncos drove down and scored damn near instantly, and then the Commanders had a touchdown to Terry McLaurin, and then it got called back because of John Connerly, and then that forced down play from Mariota where he somehow broke out of a sack of Nick Bonito, threw it, got batted way the fuck up in the air, was picked off, but got called back because of Hufanga committing a penalty. And they score like 3 plays later. They go for 2. And how do you leave Nick Bonito unblocked in that situation? But man, what a hard-fought game by the Washington Commanders. Such a bummer that they lost this game. Well, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe. And turn the notification bell on so you'll never miss an upload. I will see you in the next video. Go Hawks!